This is the big one. Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey Protein Powder. This may well be the most popular protein powder in the entire world. It's the #1 seller on Amazon.com and a bunch of other websites. And it's basically the default protein powder for a lot of people out there. So is it any good? Well, today I'm going to talk about the brand. I'm going to try the taste with 2% milk and with some water. Then I'm going to talk about the nutrition, the ingredients, who it's good for, who it might not be quite so good for, the price, and some other pros and cons. Now, if you would want to see if this lands on my list of the absolute best whey protein powders on the market, make sure you Google my full roundup. Just Google BarBend Best Whey. But if you want to stick around, let's talk about Optimum Nutrition. So I've tried out their Gold Standard pre-workout, their Gold Standard BCAAs. I've also tried out their creatine and a bunch of other products because they have an enormous variety of products, including some relatively unusual ones like egg protein powder and things like that. But this is their whey protein powder. It comes in about 24 flavors right now. This here is the double rich chocolate. So let's see how it tastes with some 2% milk. It's very tasty, it mixes very, very well. And I gotta say, it is relatively mild, especially for a flavor that's called double rich chocolate. It's a relatively mild flavor. The flavor that I am getting is more of a dark chocolate, like more cocoa-y flavor than a really rich, creamy chocolate. But when that's combined with the milk, I gotta say, yeah, it comes together really nicely. So now let's see how this tastes with water. I gotta say, it's kind of so-so with water, which is a little bit surprising because this does have artificial flavors and artificial sweeteners. So, you know, I sort of got the impression that it was going to have like a really nice, rich flavor, but it tastes quite a bit like a small spoonful of cocoa mixed in with water. So it's not that exciting. If you want a really nice, richer chocolate flavor, they've also got extreme milk chocolate, which might be more up your alley. But this, it's fine with water, but I really preferred it with milk. Now, as far as other flavors go, this can always change, but right now there are about 24 flavors of this protein powder, which is more than I've seen at any other brand. And like, if you're including white chocolate and Rocky Road and mocha and chocolate coconut and chocolate banana, there are about 10 different chocolate flavors out there. There are 3 with the word cake in the title as well. I've tried a ton of them. In my opinion, white chocolate is fantastic. Strawberry is just okay. Cake donut is way too sweet. So you do have a ton of different options, a good 24 or so flavors to pick from, which is definitely a pro for the brand. There's a lot of versatility there. All right, let's check out the nutrition of this double rich chocolate flavor. So 1 scoop is 120 calories. In that, you're gonna get 24 grams of protein, 3 grams of carbohydrates with 1 gram of sugar, and 1 gram of fat with half a gram of saturated fat. So it's not the lowest carb, lowest fat protein powder out there, but that's because it's a blend of 3 different types of whey, which I'll talk about in the next section. Besides that, it's worth pointing out there's 10% of your daily cholesterol here, which could be a pro or a con, depending on your own dietary goals. And there's 5% of your daily sodium. And as far as other micronutrients go, there's just 2% of your iron and 8% of your calcium, which is a little bit lower in calcium than a lot of other protein powders, which are normally like 10 to 12%. But then again, most people aren't taking whey as a source of calcium. As far as the ingredients go, it's not a super long list, but there are some things that are really important to point out. So the first ingredient is a protein blend of whey protein isolate, whey protein concentrate, and whey peptides. There are 3 different types of whey in here, all of which have their own benefits and drawbacks. Besides that, you're gonna get some cocoa, because this is one of the chocolatier flavors. Then there's some soy lecithin to help with like mixability. It's an emulsifier. Then there's natural and artificial flavors, the artificial sweetener acesulfame potassium, and then there's aminogen and lactase. So, a few things really worth pointing out. Because this is a blend of different types of whey and whey concentrate is in there, this does contain a little bit of lactose, which might be important for people who are extremely sensitive to lactose. However, this contains the digestive enzymes lactase and aminogen, which can help to break down lactose and help to minimize digestive discomfort. That's not a guarantee, but it could help some people potentially. And the aminogen is also meant to help with like bloating and gas and things like that some people can experience with whey protein powder. So again, that's not a guarantee, but that could be good use for some folks with more sensitive stomachs. Who is this product best for? Well, if you don't have any allergies and you're okay with consuming dairy, I think it's a pretty good option for anyone who's looking to increase the protein in their diet without spending a ton of money or getting a lot of extra carbs and fat. Now, this is not carb-free or fat-free. There are whey isolates out there that have like 0 grams of carbs and 0 grams of fat. So it's 3 grams of carbs, 1 gram of sugar. If you are really trying to absolutely minimize carbs and sugar as much as humanly possible, that could be an issue for you. Those 3 grams might not sound like much, but like I've been on some diets where you have to get like 200 grams of protein in a day and 50 grams of carbohydrates, so that can add up in those situations. So that is worth pointing out. Also, if you're on a ketogenic diet in particular, those 3 grams of carbs might not be for you. But if that's not describing you, I think you're gonna be in a pretty good spot with this product. It's pretty low in sodium, it's pretty low in saturated fat. It has 10% of daily cholesterol, which like might be an issue for some people, but otherwise, this is like pretty solid product. Well, as far as allergies go, I did mention there is some lactose here, although there are the digestive enzymes, which could potentially help with that, although you should speak with your doctor if you have concerns about things like that, because I am not a doctor. There's also some soy in here in the form of lecithin, which is like a fatty substance found in soy that helps improve mixability. Now, this does mix very, very well, which I was really happy with, but again, if you're restricting soy or you're restricting lactose, that might be a problem. Also, they did tell me on the phone this does not have like a risk of contamination with shellfish and tree nuts and things like that, which could be good news for other folks with allergies, but they wouldn't say if it's a gluten-free facility. They weren't able to be 100% on that, and this is not certified gluten-free like some of their products are, so that could be important information for some folks. In any case, if you don't have any allergies and if you're okay with a little bit of sugar and a little bit of carbohydrates, and in particular, if you are sick of just the regular vanilla and chocolate over and over and over again, this is a pretty good brand because it has a ton of different flavors you can experiment with. All right, so how much does this cost? So this tub here is about 2 pounds. You're gonna get 29 servings in it, and the price does vary a lot and it can change at any time. I should make that clear. But this is between like $25 and $35 for this tub. So that comes out to a little over $1 a scoop, or roughly like between 4 and 4.5 cents per gram of protein. So that's pretty reasonably priced. I mean, this is not an all-natural product or anything like that, which tend to be a bit more expensive. Your normal whey protein powders, the more popular brands, they do typically hover around 4 cents per gram of protein. So it's pretty reasonably priced. It's not the absolute cheapest on the market, but for what it is and the quality you're getting, because again, it has a really good reputation with third-party testers, I think it's a pretty good pick. And it's also worth pointing out that the price decreases the more you buy. You can get these in 5-pound tubs. We used to have a 10-pound bag of it here at BarBend HQ, and when you get that much, it's just a little bit over 3 cents per gram of protein. So you do have some options when it comes to price. All right, so Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard. What are the pros? Why should you get it? Well, pretty reasonably priced. It's got a huge variety of flavors as well. Again, more than I've ever seen. There could be other brands with more, but this is the most I've ever seen with a brand. This also has these digestive enzymes, which could be pretty good news for a lot of folks who experience like gas and bloating and digestive discomfort with other whey protein powders, especially whey concentrate, like pure raw whey concentrate. That can cause issues for some folks. Again, I'm not saying that's going to completely eliminate the chances of that happening for everybody, but it appears these enzymes may help some people with digestion, so that's a pro. There are no artificial colors in here, if that's important to you. There aren't many allergens. Like they said, there's no risk of getting contaminated with shellfish or stuff like that. For lactose allergy, this could potentially be a good choice for you. I didn't mention this earlier either, but I do also want to point out that this product has been tested by Informed Choice, which is a third-party testing site that makes sure there are no banned substances or things like that. So that can be really good use for competitive athletes. There are just a few potential downsides with this product. Number one, I didn't think it tasted very good with water. It really is a lot better with milk. Despite the fact that it has artificial sweeteners and stuff, I didn't find it was amazing with water. That's something worth pointing out with this flavor anyway. On that note, this contains artificial sweeteners. It has acesulfame potassium. It doesn't contain sucralose, not this one anyway, but acesulfame potassium is controversial in some circles. People worry about potential effects on like insulin sensitivity and things like that. I'm not saying that it is bad for you, but if you are someone who tries to avoid artificial sweeteners, this might not be for you. There's also soy lecithin in here as well, so if you really try to minimize soy, that's going to be a bit of a bummer for you as well. And then finally, it's not crazy low in carbohydrates. It's 24 grams of protein, 3 grams of carbohydrates, 1 gram of sugar, so if you're in a really carb-restricted diet, this might not be for you either. All right, those are my thoughts on Optimum Nutrition's Gold Standard, which may be the most popular whey on the entire market. But if you're interested in finding out what I think are the best wheys on the market, make sure you Google our roundup, BarBend plus Best Wheys.